Welcome to another episode of Instrumental Ramblings with me, Dusepo. In this episode, we're going to be talking about my visit to Madrid. Madrid really is a city full of luthiers, as you can see there. So, what's a luthier to do when visiting a city full of other luthiers? Here is a luthier at work working on the ribs of a classical guitar. You can also see many necks there, a couple of soundboards and 3 backs there ready to be used also. Also a repair job by the look of it here going on. Now as this is a classical guitar, the traditional method is used here, which is a solera. You can see the solera there being used, board on which the classical and flamenco guitars are traditionally built. And just like in my shop, there is a pile full of soundboards waiting to be used and thicknessed. Here's a different angle view of the same workshop. You can see the necks there hanging. And moving on to another workshop, this is very interesting. Here in this cabinet was a kind of hybrid between a modern classical guitar and a Renaissance vihuela. You can see it's got the carved soundboard and the inlays, but it's also got fixed metal frets and a modern bridge there. Here is a luthier working on the back of the instrument. You can see those special type of clamps they're using there as well. And again, the same type of clamps here used on the soundboard, and you can see the traditional fan bracing pattern there also. Again, lots of soundboards here hanging out and some calipers. Interestingly, 2 different types of solera there as well. That's the form I was mentioning, which the classical guitar is traditionally built on, and a headstock template. Here's a whole load of necks hanging up in various stages of construction. You can see the traditional Spanish heel joint there in use on all of them. Also interesting here, you've got machine head style ones, but also the peg style for the flamenco guitars. Now these squares here you can see in the bottom where it says mosaico, they are for making the rosettes. Here is an antique bandurria which was on top of the same cabinet in which we saw the vihuela hybrid thing earlier. And an antique guitar here as well. And just to prove that yes, this is me taking all these pictures, there are my arms there. And here is something I certainly never expected to see in Madrid, but I saw this is in a kind of crafty shop. This is a Persian setar, which is a very traditional instrument from Iran. It has 4 steel strings and a long neck with microtonal frets. The 4 strings are in 3 courses, with the lowest course in octaves and the rest single. Here are some of the rather cool murals and similar things seen in Madrid. This is a bowed instrument, a fadula, which is a medieval bowed instrument. And here is some artwork which was on some tiles, which was at the entrance of a luthier's workshop. And the interesting thing is this bit in the center here is actually based off an engraving from Italy from 1510, which is by Marcantonio Raimondi. And that instrument in the picture is a Renaissance vihuela. Here is a view through the window of a luthier's workshop which was sadly closed when we went to visit, but it's you can see here a rather nice charango in the case. Charango, for those who don't know, is a traditional instrument from the Andean region of South America with 5 double nylon courses of strings. It's a re-entrant tuning with the lowest note in the middle. The tuning is G, C, E, A, E. That lowest course in the middle is strung in octaves, the rest are in unison. Also, this rather interesting might be some historical variant of a bandurria, I'm not entirely sure. And here's a statue outside the Biblioteca Nacional, the National Library in Madrid. This statue is of Alfonso X, or Alfonso el Sabio, the Wise. The medieval collection of songs, the Cantigas de Santa Maria, is attributed to him, and that's from 1280. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will answer them in a future video. And that brings us to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe, or if you don't want to, that's fine too. Remember, I am not your mum.